not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or Tom at trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
All righty, just a couple of hours before the New Year weekend, I guess. But we will be here on Monday the 31st. Oh, no, she's abandoning us.
Back.
God, no more coffee. God.
So I get the chair back?
Oh, he wants the chair.
Yeah,
There's the
you can
plan.
spread out on the table.
And he will.
You can crowd out your host and boss.
And to show you what we're talking about, folks, just take a look at this. In the during the show, Mort knocked this little ditty off.
I hate you.
And this is what the camera often catches here at trentovision.tv. And for those of you driving in your automobiles, you do not see this. But we have a surprised, irrepressible. What is that? I can't read it. Irrepressible. Oh, yeah, of course, you. Irrepressible CJ, looking somewhat astonished at the hind quarter.
Well, at least I don't have a crack showing.
Oh, yeah, you don't have the plumber's thing going on. The hind quarter of Mark as he's passing by the camera while we're live on the air. And there's the proverbial cup of CJ coffee. I could smell the aroma. Thanks, Mort, for that little
Thank you.
ditty.
It's extremely cute.
Thanks, Mort.
These are the kind of you could be the owner of one of these Mozart pieces. We'll tell you all about that after the first of the year. But if you come up with a good idea, just a succinct concept, sketch out a couple sentences, send it to the Blue Ribbon Commission that will analyze. We have 4 or 5. We haven't pushed this yet, but we have 4 or 5 submittals already.
We would like to say submissions, but that means something else. For
we
the
don't use. We have 4 or 5
today.
Islams. And we will pick a winner, and then you will get a signed, autographed copy of Mozart for your own little self-keeping and self-pleasure and whatever you want to do with it. But here you are at 8 minutes after the hour. On the East Coast, it's 5 o'clock. Our good friends out in California, it's 2:08. They got a lot of day left, don't they? But our friends in Europe have no day left because it's nighttime there right now. That's the way the world works when it spins. If it stood still, I guess it would be daylight all the time for some people. How's that work? But in any event, on this show today, at the outset 2 hours ago, we raised the question, is Islam compatible with the West? And more particularly, is Islam compatible with the United States of America? And we raised this question against the backdrop of the past 2 days of shows we have presented on the Revolutionary War, 1776, because on Christmas Day, 1776, 236 years ago, George Washington crossed the Delaware on his way from Philadelphia to Trenton. He was going to go to Atlantic City, do a little gambling, but he said, let me fight the Hessians first. So he was a little early for a city, but he did defeat the Hessians, who were kind of drunked up from partying on Christmas Day. And the band of brothers that Washington had was probably, in a sense, the most dilapidated, frightful individuals that could be assembled after months of defeat by the British Army. They were assembled in the ice and freezing snow and rain and sleet. About 2,000 men, boys, half regulars, half militia, which means farmers, doctors, lawyers, storekeepers, anybody that can grab a musket that shot one little ball and point it in the right direction was recruited. And in a feat that even Thomas Paine said was presidential, articulated in his December 23rd, The American Crisis. You need to read that. as a motivational piece, not only for that battle then, but for the battle we run into in the year 213, which is just around the corner. That's why we're doing these shows, to build an army, an ideological army of people willing to fight and give up your honor and your fortune and whatever is necessary to preserve the Declaration. Because as Thomas Paine said in there, said that if you do not go and fight the Hessians, he said 236 years ago, he said the blood of your children and your children's children will be a reminder of the era you make today. And we want to see that very carefully, that those who are just starting out in life should be given an opportunity to live in freedom and justice and the good life, to do the right thing. Thus, we look at what we know from a national security perspective here on Trento Vision and on our other website, The United West, a counterterrorism educational site. We know that Islam, the Islamic Jihad is the greatest threat to the West, greatest threat to Israel, greatest threat to the United States. Whether you're on the Sunni side, the Egyptians and Gaza, and the majority of Muslims, or whether you're on the Shia side, 10-15%, but they're building a bomb right now. And as Mark Langfan told us yesterday, it doesn't have to be one of the big complicated ones. They have enough junk, 240 plutonium, to make these little stick bombs that'll fizzle their way to ending Manhattan's existence for only 64,000 years.
That somehow disappeared from Iran the other day, and just it's mysteriously floating around the world. We don't know where it's at.
Unbelievable. But we bring you all of this to wake you up as you end 2012, get into 2013. Tom Trento, CJ, Mark, Mike, and we're here on National Security Radio. Anybody on the line or anything? I think we're going to have some. We had to turn a few people away before. All right, we're back. We just got done with our friend Dr. Andy Bostum, not Boston. Bostum. Must have been
As
teased.
in Trento, not Trenton.
Yeah, same thing, same problem. Must have been teased all his life. You from Boston? He's not from Boston. But he is a brilliant academic, has written extensively. I'm getting emails from people who are listening to the show. What are they saying? Thank you for having Dr. Andy Bostum on your program. He's an expert with impeccable scholarship. Dr. Bostum corrected areas previously discussed by Cynthia Farrahat, who had been wrongly repeated on a number of crucial, who has been wrong repeatedly on a number of crucial issues. Well, she would disagree with that writer, but that's what the writer's saying.
Well, that's why I suggested that we have the two of them on together.
Yep, that would be good.
Well, I think with the preponderance of his evidence that he brought up, I mean, as an expert witness, as you were calling him in, I think, Andy, as trying to look at this from an impartial viewpoint, the evidence suggests that Andy's position is more correct. Not to say that Cynthia doesn't have a point. I mean, there's probably is a slight maybe skewing, but not the one that would justify the numbers that we're seeing.
Well, also he said, she's speaking from her heart also of what, her aspirations are, and maybe the aspirations of her friends and family, but she's taking that and she's trying to superimpose it on a society that really does not, according to his data, really concur with where her heart is.
And she argues it very effectively, and there is a factor there. And if you want to know what we're talking about, you can go to one of the archive shows. Cynthia Farrahat, she's an Egyptian woman in exile, had to leave under death threat. And her view is that the majority of Egyptians do not want Sharia. They want freedom.
Right.
And Dr. Andy Bostum is saying, no, the data says the majority do want Sharia. And, it's an interesting debate. It's moot at this point. They got Sharia.
They have it.
They got it, and they got it as Mark
they
made.
Own it. Yeah.
Mark made a point. They have it from a
Western educated.
A USC, University of Southern California, educated Ph.D., Dr. Mohammed Morsai.
Who was most profoundly
Got another note here.
By
Got another note
another
here.
U.S. educated.
I wish to extend my sincere thanks for you guys having IQ Al Rasoli on Trento Vision last Friday, 12/21, a week ago today. Thoroughly enjoyed the live interview. The genuineness of both you and your crew shines through, and your humor puts everyone at ease. We make jihad fun. You have definitely secured a new follower in me, and it goes on a little bit.
And please send your donations.
Yes. I think the term, here's another little note, I think the term Islamization is a fantastic adjective in describing the Islamization of America, meaning the entire system of Islam, which consists of a religion, a political system, a military, all under one theocratic dictate. We have other words such as Americanization, the Americanization of Emily, Americanization, new citizens. The Islamization of America creates an indelible imprint when describing the ultimate goal of Muslim Islamists. No? Yes. Great, glad to hear you today and all this other stuff. So that's a couple of people have written in. We'll take one phone call, then we'll get in. I want to hear you two guys, right. CJ, Mark, and Mike, the three of you. Comments on Fjord Man and a couple of other issues that we are going to bring up. In particular, is it possible for a human being who was raised in a Muslim family in an Arab country to come to the United States and integrate and assimilate and become a productive American citizen? I don't want that answer now. I'm teasing the audience. That's teasing the audience for a little later. And another one other little tease here. Yes, Fjord Man says, mass immigration can be a problem by itself of also non-Muslims. But Islam is a uniquely aggressive and violent creed. No other major established religion on the planet stipulates the death penalty for criticizing or mocking its founder or its teachings. It's 5,000 religions.
Or its laws.
Imagine if all of them said, if you mock our guy, we're killing you. You know?
Or mock a Muslim.
So, but before we do that, CJ, let's go to the phones. Who do you have?
Let's go to the phone. I don't know. We have a mystery blog writer on the line.
A mystery blog. Yes. Mystery blog writer, do you have a name?
Yes, it's not blog writer, it's hog writer.
Oh, hog rider.
Hog rider. Okay.
Mike, CJ, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
Hog rider. Let me guess. You ride a hog.
Whoa, damn! You guys are always sharp, aren't you?
So, what type of Harley do you have?
So he's not. No, he rides a pig. He's not a Muslim. He's right.
No. He rides a Harley.
No, a hog. He rides a
hog
pig.
Hog rider.
Yeah, hog rider.
Hog rider.
What's a hog?
A hog is a big pig.
A hog is a Harley.
It's a Harley.
Oh.
Harley Davidson.
Out here when I go pulling up to the mosque and I have the three pigs dangling from the back of the rear
He does.
He does. Actually, it rides a hog. I was thinking a hog like Harley Davidson.
No, it is. He on his Harley. I've ridden his bike. On his Harley, the hog you're talking about. I was being facetious. He does have three little pigs on the back of it. He's got two Harleys actually. This guy. Hey, hog rider, what's up, man?
What's up? Well, I heard a little bit a while ago that you asked a question, is Islam compatible with the West? And that got my blood boiling, so I had to call in. No way. No living way on earth is it compatible. I mean, their follower, the guy that spread Islam, right? I mean, I guess if you're a pedophile, murderer, polygamist, then yes, you are compatible with Islam. But for those people that don't fall into those three categories, no. Islam is not compatible with Western lifestyle and civilization, period, dot.
Well, yeah, we have heard in our work, those claims, those statements, and we've challenged a lot of people on those categories, and the Muslim apologists say, well, he wasn't a pedophile because back in those days they allowed marriage. Mark's chomping at the bit here. They allowed marriage with.
But the West is we're a multicultural morally relativist society.
Diverse
So doesn't
melting
everything
pot,
go?
Yeah, so what's wrong with
Aren't
that?
aren't all of us equal and all values are valid?
Well, here we're talking about values.
Okay.
So everyone knows in Islamic law, Sharia, in following, this is, not the cutting off the apostate type of laws. This is regular divorce law.
Okay.
Okay. And according to Sharia law, the law that is now passed in Egypt and Muslims want to have enacted here in the United States, everyone knows that to divorce someone in Islam, you have to say what 3 times? I divorce thee.
And that's
But there is a stipulation. You cannot, according to Islamic law, divorce someone if the woman if you've had sex with a woman before her menstrual cycle. So you have to not have had sex with a woman between her menstrual cycle. Plus,
so there's some rules.
Well, hold on. This is really good. He's talking about the other part, how Islamic law is actually, inundated. Is you say she cannot be pregnant. You cannot divorce a pregnant Islamic woman.
Oh, you got to wait.
You cannot divorce a woman who you've not had sexual intercourse with. And plus, you cannot divorce a wife who is prepubescent.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a wife who's prepubescent,
which means under like 10 years old or whatever,
right, you cannot divorce her.
So you can have a wife who's 10 years
That's right. The point. But the point being is you can't have a wife, which is, so anybody who says that Muhammad does not practice, wasn't a pedophile or whatever, that's immaterial. The point of being is that he married a young girl. So now it is, of course, Muhammad did it. You can marry a prepubescent girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the argument we hear along these lines is that, well, these are cultural things. This is the Arabic culture back then. Law. But Mark's reading out of the law book, Reliance on the Traveler. So, Hogwriter, let me ask you this. Is it possible? Now, take all your prejudices and all that. We want an analytical mind, okay? Is it possible for a Muslim to come from an Islamic country, come to America, leave all the crazy stuff, just be, a nice Muslim, but truly assimilate and be a patriotic American?
No, not unless before he comes here. I don't have any such document, but I mean, if there was a list of about 100 questions that they could answer and swear to, such as, no Sharia, I'll abide by the U.S. Constitution, whatever local laws of the land are enforced where I live, those are the ones I'll abide by, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then perhaps let them get on a plane and come here. But no, we're welcoming them in here to the U.S., and they aren't integrating into the society. All these mosques popping up all over the place are their congregating points. They're war rooms. That's where they get taught all their information that they need to conduct and continue the jihad here in the U.S.
But
so
let me
not.
ask you that. Let me ask you this. According to Islam, they can practice taqiyya, which is lying, and so couldn't they just lie in their answers to saying that they will abide by the Constitution and that they will give up their cultural identities from their other countries and all that kind of stuff? I mean, they could just lie about it just to get in.
Unfortunately, we're such a PC, diverse country right now. We can't. It would be darn tough to come up with a law and say, okay, no Muslim from any Islamic country is going to be allowed into the U.S. That would never get past the ACLU and all the other dimwits in Congress. So the way we have to do it is sort of go around that by having this document that they must sign. And then if they break any one of those things, fine, they're put in prison, or not put in prison, but shipped out of here.
Well, what about the second and third generation Muslims who are already here? I mean, are you saying that we should have some kind of loyalty oath for Muslims in the United States, regardless of whether they're citizens or residents or first generation or whatever they are?
Well, now you're talking about, a lot of laws we got to start working on for future generations, et cetera. Right now, what we got to do is stop the immigration of Muslims into this country the way it's proceeding right now. Down in San Diego, we have it's about 20,000 plus Somali population.
Right.
You know, and when they bring these people, when they say, hey, I'm a political prisoner, I want to go to the U.S., the U.S. gives them like 2 days of training. You know, these are our laws. This is where you're going to live. This is a map of our country. Boom, they put them on a plane and land them wherever they're predestined to go.
Well, they're predestined to go into communities that are overwhelmingly Christian on purpose.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
what are they doing in the Northeast and in South Dakota,
Tennessee,
and Minnesota, and Tennessee, and Maine and New Hampshire, like whole imported Somali communities in the middle of the Bible Belt? What the heck is that about?
Right, and they're getting these Somalis off the desert who've never seen a light bulb, don't know what running water is.
Literally, they don't.
Set them up in an apartment here, and they walk over, flip on the light switch, says, here's where you turn on your light, and it freaks them out. They don't know what electricity is.
So why is our government doing this, and why are we as the taxpayer paying for it?
You know, most of them don't even speak English, and a lot of them, what I found out, you know, there's single parents that are coming here, typically the mom with 5, 6, 7 kids, and they're put on welfare for how long? I don't know, but quite a while. They set them up in the apartment, give them welfare, give them food stamps, and that's it. They don't speak English. They have no job skills. They're never going to be productive citizen of this society. So they congregate around their mosque, their Somali communities. That's who they, live their life with. You know, they don't try to go out and better themselves, learn English, acquire job skills, or none of that.
Well, no, they don't. I mean, you don't have to if
right.
If you got the dough. We were in Israel last year, and we went downtown Tel Aviv, and we were in Little Somalia.
Yeah.
And last week, the Israeli government, which is very liberal and very socialistic in many respects, bringing all these people in, they finally said, "All right, this is
Enough.
it. You guys are going out of here." Yeah, they're starting to throw them out.
I think one thing that we all need to look at and discuss when we're talking about immigration and is Islam compatible with the West, what we need to look at is we need to make a separation between what is assimilation and what is acculturation. And the fact is that Muslims will not assimilate. They will acculturate only to a certain point until their numbers are of sufficient strength for them to take over through our own laws and customs to impose Sharia on us.
Well, that's right. Give you a specific example. I know this one person out here who's named after their prophet. I won't give his last name, but his first name is Mo. Mo works in a cellular shop. Okay, his wife does not work. Mo has 7 kids. 2 of them are in college, all the way down to like a 5-year-old. Now, you tell me, with the cost of living and everything, how is Mo supporting his family? He owns his own home, and he sells for a living. He sells cellular phones at a mobile phone shop. Crazy. But like you say, what their purpose is, one of the things they're doing is just multiplying like rabbits until they're at the point where biologically they've taken us over.
Okay, Hog Rider. Well, hang on one second.
I got to get going here.
Okay, but thank you for calling, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all you. Keep up the good work, and I'm glad I was able to listen a bit today.
All right, you go back to work and keep America safe.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, Hog Rider. We got Claire wrote us a little note. Said that a little girl you can divorce a little girl, so maybe somewhere else in there. There's a 3-month waiting period to be sure she's not pregnant. That's the stipulation.
That was the stipulation.
Thing in Judaism,
and then sometimes the dowry has to be given back to the family too.
Yeah.
And the point you made, Mark, the verse about divorcing prepubescent girls is the proof that marriages were Sharia valid in the first place. So thank you, Claire, for that clarification.
for the clarification.
Clarifies
well, yeah, the
things.
point I was trying to make was that you can marry prepubescent girls.
Of course,
that was the whole point.
And
I guess that's in countries where there are no labor laws.
Hogrider raised the question: if there was something where there was a bunch of questions, well, there is, folks. I wrote it. January 2009.
I remember that. Yeah.
January 2009, I wrote, for several years in cities across America, I've been trying to support good Muslims who courageously take a stand against the bad Muslims. And if you take issue with my reference to bad, well, just consider I put this list of things. Therefore, I put some questions together to separate the good from the bad. And I define a bad Muslim. A bad Muslim is that individual working in a seditious and stealth-like manner. Forget about the guys blowing things up. But in a seditious and stealth-like manner to undermine our constitutional republic and ultimately through Sharia law, jihad if necessary, institute religious and political Islam as the new American jurisprudential system. So I put together 30 questions.
Right.
Do you believe, number one, I'm not going to read all of them, but do you believe that the implementation of Sharia law on a public policy level is fully and completely compatible with the United States Constitution? I mean, that's the kind of the killer question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's yes, it's you're out of here.
Okay, yeah.
If it's no
further.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you believe, and then it goes on, a whole bunch of different things. Do you agree with Section 219 of the American Immigration and Nationality Act that designates Hamas as a foreign terrorist organization? Do you believe that Muslims who are martyred in the act of jihad go directly to paradise? But the bottom line is our country already solved this problem hundreds of years ago. It gave us a naturalization oath. Okay, it gave us something. Yeah, the Article 6 of the Constitution. Let me read that. Mark just brought up Article 6 related to foreign laws. Article 6 is that section of the Constitution that deals with several items. The item that we refer to when we say Article 6 in relation to people who want Sharia law is, as I read right now, the Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all the treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the
law of the land.
Supreme law of the land. Shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. So what this says, it not only says the Constitution is the Supreme Court, the supreme law of the land, but the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. The assumption being, don't forget, this is 1791, right? No, 76, 83, 1787, 11 years after the Declaration. And these colonies were kind of figuring out what the state was, and they were still running their states like their own little countries. So this article says if there's any judges that want to do something different, they have to be bound by this.
Right.
By the supreme law.
Right.
Which presupposes that a judge will take a foreign law and implement it into the state.
Right.
Right.
Which is a phenomenal precedent for American laws, for American courts, because that's what judges are doing in America, in the states. So we need a state constitution law against foreign laws being applied in America. Sam, what do you think, Sam, about all of this?
Hi.
Hi. Sam, what do you think about all this stuff?
Can Sharia law be compatible with our Constitution? Hell no.
Well, okay. You sound pretty definite on that. Any reasons why?
Well, okay, I'll share something with you that happened to me when I arrived in the great state of Texas.
Oh, are you the Sam that just sent me a picture? You want me to put the picture up?
Yeah, I'm cousins with another friend of yours.
Okay.
So I arrived to Texas, right, not too long ago, wearing a shirt that I believe I have the right to wear in America.
It is on our Trento Vision site, not on the site, it's playing live broadcast right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Picture your shirt.
So winning the hearts and minds of our enemy, two in the heart, one in the mind, and it's got a picture of an AR rifle. Now, it doesn't state, who the enemy is specifically, although we know who that enemy is. Regardless, I think I have the right to wear the shirt. I go to the local Target, okay? The day that we arrive here, after a 2-day drive, I go to the local Target, and I'm doing some shopping. And mind you, I am definitely a minority in the store. Almost everyone there is either speaking Spanish or Arabic. And this place that I was at is almost taken over by Arabs, by Muslims. Everywhere you go, I mean, they're all hijabbed up and everything, right? And I was getting some glares throughout the store, and I wasn't really sure why, other than the fact that maybe I was this little white girl that, didn't have her head covered, and they didn't like that too. I just didn't really know. And then, so I go, I pay, check out, and I'm on my way out the door, and I feel something on my back. I was thinking maybe somebody just tapped me with their cart. I didn't really care. I was going to keep going. I feel it again. Now it's higher up on my shoulder. It can't be the cart. I'm like, what the heck? So I feel it again, closer up on my neck. I turn around. I'm like, what the hell? Can I say that? What the heck? And I am being given a raw egg bath by some very sweet Muslimas, about 3 to 4 or 5 Muslim women wearing hijabs. A couple of them that are like in their mid-40s. There's a couple of them that are young teenagers. They didn't have anything else in their hands. One of the ladies had a little, plastic grocery bag. The other one had another plastic grocery bag, and it seems like all that was in it was these raw eggs. Huh. And so they had kind of been following me around, I guess, in the store towards the end, and they had planned. It's obvious they had planned this attack. And they were yelling stuff at me, and all I could really make out, because I don't speak fluently, was haram and infidel and some other things. And the way that this ended up, and for certain reasons, I personally couldn't, besides the fact that I had a bunch of ammo and stuff in my car because I had just moved, I really didn't want to stick around for any problems or anything like that. I personally would have wanted, rather beat the pulp out of them, but I couldn't do that for certain reasons. I had to withhold my composure. One of the managers, the only person who tried to help me, was a sweet little old white lady who walked over and tried to get these ladies to stop and get them to leave. The black manager comes over and clearly is in favor of these ladies, walks them out the door, talking to them real gently and trying to get them to calm down and all that kind of crap, and was asking them if they wanted to file a report. Not once did I get asked if I wanted to file a report. And then a manager brought out, a clean T-shirt and some washcloths and stuff like that.
Now, hey, Sam, let me ask you. All those marks on the shirt, is that camouflage or is that eggaflage?
That would be the egg
Okay, so
yeah.
you took a picture of the shirt right after you got hit with all the eggs. For the viewing and listening audience, it's 38 minutes past 5 o'clock. You're with Tom Trento on Trento Vision. Mark, CJ, Mike. On the phone is Sam from Texas. Texas Sam on the phone. And our subject for today is whether or not Islam can be compatible with the West. We were going through a very academic analysis of this, but now we're getting calls from people that have had some bad experiences, and they have value. These anecdotal experiences have value. It's not how you determine the essence of our question,
right,
but it helps illustrate it. Now, the shirt you were wearing, again, for those just tuning in or watching, it says, winning the hearts and minds of the enemy. It's got a picture of an assault rifle. It's not a real assault rifle. It's an AR-15, it looks like. 2 in the heart, 1 in the mind. And it's a provocative shirt. It doesn't say who the enemy is. It could be the enemy we're fighting anywhere in the world. You certainly have a First Amendment right to wear that. But the Muslim women took offense at that. Were you provocative? Did you say anything to these people, or?
Oh my gosh, no! This took place at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. I had just driven about 12 hours that day with a car full of kids. I was exhausted, minding my own business. I just wanted to get my stuff and get out.
She was hit from behind.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
All right. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is a horrible experience, but I can give you 100 experiences where the people from my tribe, Italians, did crazy stuff to people, all of that. This is part of this is human nature. Where, in light of our subject matter, Muslims assimilating and integrating in the U.S., going beyond, the fact that they didn't like what you were wearing, do you think it's possible for somebody to reject all the crazy Islamic Sharia stuff that Mark reads every day and truly become a good Texan, a good American?
I think somebody who follows Islam devoutly, and even maybe not so devoutly, but follows Islam, is a danger to our society. And here's why. If you actually read the Quran, if you actually read their materials, the Hadith, the Sunnahs, and their other legal jurisprudence documents, it very specifically and blatantly calls for the annihilation of Jews, which we have Jews living in America. It calls for the annihilation of those who are non-Muslim, people of the book, and all throughout their text is very clear. And you can just look at their communities, and I don't know, how familiar people are with some of these communities, but if you go into their communities, they're even told. In fact, I'm reading a book right now about being a good Muslim woman, whether you're a child or a wife or a daughter or whatever. And again, it comes from from the Holy Land Foundation Mosque, in fact, given to me by an imam. And they are very specific about telling these families, these people, you cannot assimilate. Do not assimilate. The girls are not allowed to play with, hang out with, to go out with anyone who's non-Muslim. It is not allowed.
Yeah, no, we have seen that. It is a problem. All right, Sam, we're going to roll along here. I got a bunch of stuff to cover with these two guys. But what was the conclusion of this? Was there a lawsuit or anything, or you just what did you do?
As I said, I was traveling heavily armed and with ammo because I was moving here. I really didn't want any problems, and I could already tell by the demeanor of the security guard and by the manager and everything else. It wasn't going to go well for me either way, and so I just tried to hightail it out of there as quickly as I could.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just an aside to what Sam was saying, it's interesting this took place in a Target, and the Target manager, I'm assuming it was fairly recent, the Target manager looked to console the Muslim women who were assaulting Sam. Well, the Target Corporation in the last few years caved in one of the legal jihad cases that I'm familiar with against... caved to a Muslim employee who sued Target because she refused to scan pepperoni pizzas while she was a cashier.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Because there was pork in the pepperoni pizzas, and she refused to handle, as a cashier, products that contained pork. So they took her off as being a cashier. And I think they fired her. So she sued them, and Target had ended up settling with her and rehiring her and giving her a job that would not require her to handle any pork products. So Target Corporation caved.
Well, a lot of corporations are caving like that.
And they're caving in, and these corporations are being set up in legal shakedowns. These people are being sent into these companies to deliberately get jobs where they know that they would not be able to be Sharia compliant. So what is an 18-year-old Muslim girl who wears a hijab doing, going to work at Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever it's called,
it is, yeah.
and selling thong panties to 12-year-olds, and then sues Abercrombie because they won't let her wear her headgear on the job. She knows when she applies there what the standard is for employees to look at. She gets hired, and then after she's already hired and working, then decides, oh, yeah, I'm a practicing Muslim, and now go try to get rid of me.
We're going to have to continue our analysis of Fjordman's his article, because he's got a lot of stuff in there. We're starting to push the clock. And this is the nature of these kind of these are the nature of these kind of shows where we're we're taking sort of an analytical, deconstructing view. But some of the stuff just ignites the people out there, and they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm getting a letter here from Clarification.
Department of Clarification.
Department of Clarification. What's needed is a national legal consensus that Sharia is anti-U.S., anti-constitutional first. We need an established viewpoint or law. Legal consensus, because without that determination, there's no legal basis for excluding Sharia-compliant Muslims, obviously. As there used to be a statement on the naturalization forms about communism, which was grounds for exclusion or later deportation if found to be fraudulently answered.
Yeah.
But we do have the naturalization oath.
Right.
So we still have something on the books that has some value. And I'll read this. This is amazing. Then we'll take, who do we have on?
Robert.
We'll take Robert in a second here.
Well, I want to ask a question before we go there, real quick.
Go ahead.
No. Well, tell me in that oath if there's any stipulation where 10% of your money that you donate can go to actually fighting jihad. Is there anything in that naturalization oath that says that that's allowed?
No, that would be a very difficult one because money's fungible.
Well, no, they actually have. It's actually very trackable that 10% of the money goes to these zakat committees, and the 10% of it actually gets funded towards jihad. There's no fungible money there. It's actually trackable.
The
Sharia law trackable.
It's Sharia law trackable for sure. But
ask Rachel Ehrenfeld about that.
Yeah. Well, let me read the naturalization oath. And this you think would be the fait accompli as it relates to anybody trying to come into the United States of America. Anybody, there's crazy countries out there with their own laws. African countries have the craziest laws. Haiti, I've done a documentary and stayed in Haiti in the voodoo section of Haiti. I mean, there's insane voodoo stuff that goes on that we can't have here in the United States, right? You would think that this naturalization oath would solve the problem. It says this: so a person coming over, a Muslim or an Italian or whomever, I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce or abjure, say goodbye to, all allegiance and fidelity to any, get ready, foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I heretofore have been a subject or citizen, and that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith in law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work on national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. That covers rejecting and abjuring and renouncing Sharia. It has to. My family from Italy, there was 50 governments in the past 50 years. They had to get rid of the fascism that some of them were raised under and couldn't live anymore, the communism in different countries.
Yeah.
We don't apply this stupid naturalization oath in any serious manner. It's all a joke.
No, it's a total joke. And that's the reason you can give 1/7 of your money to jihad.
Robert, what do you think, Robert, all about this stuff? Do you think, Robert, that this naturalization oath should be something we take seriously, or is it just a joke?
I think you're a joke.
Okay, that's good.
Good. Oh, we got some challenge here.
Well, no. You're entitled to your opinion because the First Amendment is a glorious thing. Got any reasons to reach that conclusion, Robert?
Yes, I do, actually. I just finished watching a McCarthy-era documentary. And I must tell you that your commentary, your program, is so similar to the McCarthy-era hearings about communism that it makes me vomit.
Literally or
well, no,
physically?
I think it's figurative.
Figuratively. Of course, during the times of the McCarthy hearings, there were actually real communists trying to subvert the American government.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point of the method in which they went about rooting them out.
But we appreciate that you have some time to watch the McCarthy hearings. That's good. What do you know factually about the threat elements or the threat index of Sharia Islam?
Nothing. Like I knew nothing about the threat.
Nothing. Oh, that's a good qualification. Nothing. That's a good qualification. Good. Good answer.
Mark. Let me pursue this.
Uh-oh, he's getting all Brian Craig on us.
Well, the guy's an idiot. Obviously, he has no substantial facts to do anything.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Let's hear what he has to say.
He will be our friend. We can persuade Robert to come over to the light here. What do you do for a living, Robert?
What I do is I'm a financial advisor. I'm a retired military guy who spent 20 years in the military. I've called your show before.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, I think you do. And I it's amazing.
You're the Green Beret guy, right?
Yes, that's correct. And it's amazing that what I'm hearing in terms of your vitriol at what you're putting up a paper. I can't. I'm so angry. A paper.
Tiger is the word.
Paper tiger.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Or a red herring.
Or
Or a red herring, or a green beret, whatever it is.
What did he say?
Or a green beret.
Any color.
I mean, I can take this with a grain of salt. You guys take it very, very seriously. But I've got to tell you that, your line of logic is so familiar with the McCarthy era that I hope you last as long as he does. And I wish you the best new year you could have and a great success in 2013. And I've come on the road.
No.
Well, here, let me offer you a gift, okay? I was privileged to be one of the authors of a book called Sharia, The Threat to America. And a lot of what we talk about is based in this book. Would you be willing to accept and read a copy from me? I'll sign it for you. And then after you read that or while you're reading it, you call every once in a while and we'll discuss what you're finding, okay?
Absolutely, sir.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Are you persuadable on the facts?
I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal.
Okay.
That means no.
Forget about that then. Okay, you answered that question.
Okay.
Are you persuadable emotionally?
Okay, Robert, can you send Tom an email at tom@trentovision.tv so that he has your mailing address and he will send you a copy of the book?
Yeah, it could be a P.O. box. I don't need to know where you live.
Whatever it is, we don't need to.
We don't need to know where you
We're
live.
not interested in tracking you or anything. We just want to get the book for you.
I'm not.
Maybe we will in the McCarthy-esque way.
Oh,
All right.
be nice.
You've been on long enough, Robert.
No.
You're
Tom
with
at
us
TrentoVision.tv.
You have been on long enough. We have traced the phone call. We know where you are. And the helicopters are coming to pick you up.
You have to be nice.
Okay.
You guys, come on.
I'm leaving my automobile now and getting another one.
Okay. All right. Send me your address, and I'll send you a book, and we appreciate you calling.
Robert,
and you can,
thank you for calling, and Happy New Year to you.
You could always share your views with us. All right. You take care. Thanks. Bye-bye. That was Robert. Yeah,
I do appreciate his military service, even though he's
Yeah. No, he calls every once in a while.
Yeah.
And, Andy McCarthy, right, has been compared to Joe McCarthy. And, people don't realize that Joe McCarthy has been vindicated completely in his factual...
And Alger Hiss was guilty.
Yes, in his factual investigation. Now, his style and all that and his drinking, that was problems. But you got to deal with this. We got 30 seconds. Thoughts? Because we're going to have to continue this. I think we'll continue this Monday.
No.
Oh, you'll continue without me?
No. What really gripes at me is you have institutions which give 1/7 of their money to jihad, and we're not calling it out, and we just blindly go by and just.
Well, we haven't established that it's incompatible yet.
Well, let me just say this one thing about immigration, okay? And one of the quotes for one of the hadith quotes for Muhammad is this: "I charge you with 5 of what Allah has charged me with: to assemble, to listen, to obey, to immigrate, and to wage jihad for the sake of Allah. Immigrating is the precursor to waging jihad for the sake of Allah.
Yep. And on that note, we will leave you. We will leave you for the weekend. Tom Trento and the crew will be back 3 o'clock on Monday, the day before New Year's, and we will figure out how to save the world, save Israel, save the West. Take care.
Okay.